All right, thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is actually Saturday. It's December 8th, and we're in the Christmas season. Hanukkah's coming up very soon. Happy holidays to each one of you. And I hope you're having a good holiday. I really do. I think this is going to be a fabulous holiday and an excellent next year. Right now, today, one of my dearest friends, and I'm going to put this up for him, Andreas Heldal-Lund in Norway. It's not his birthday today, but he's having a birthday party today. And we were going to Skype, but his Skype isn't on. So I decided, hey, I'll make a birthday video for you. So, happy birthday to you, Andreas. I dearly, dearly love you. You know I do. He is like Mr. Cool for me. I was in a cult for 30 years, as you all know, Scientology, and everybody was working to be, cause over life and OT and all these abilities, right? And it is like a triangle, as I've explained many times, and the higher up you get, the less freedoms you actually have. They start cutting them off. It's very sneaky, it's very tricky, and I say to people all the time, Google mind control and start learning about mind control. Because it happens in a lot of different areas, and once you learn it, you'll never get suckered into it. Never. And I know people say it had never happened to me, and maybe it wouldn't with Scientology, but it could with another thing. So it's better to learn about it, and then you never will. Because you'll be able to see what the things are. Because they're tricky. They're very, very tricky. And it isn't just stupid people. In fact, I've talked to academics who have studied cults, and they say most people in cults have actually higher IQs. That's why they're in a cult. They were looking for something better. So Andreas, I met him because he created a website called Operation Clambake, or www.XENU.net. XENU, which is Scientology's top secret word, isn't anymore really, but used to be back in the day, and he was the first person to really blow it out. And I remember seeing it. I was in, and I was just poking around, the internet, kind of helping Bill Yachty, and he said, well, I want you to find out who's asking for NOTS, which is one of their top levels, and let me know who. Well, nobody ever told me. But that was the only thing I did. But while poking around for NOTS, I found this Operation Clambake, and I was like, oh my God, because it had XENU.net on it, and that's this huge back then in the day, in the 90s, it was still really top secret, and they didn't want anyone to know about it. I mean, now it's become the joke of the world, and it's really, really funny. And the funniest thing is that they still think it's confidential, and nobody knows about it. And if you find about it too soon, you could get pneumonia, which, you know what? I've sat in a church. One of my friends, it's not a friend, but a guy I knew had a whole plan where he was going to educate ministers, and they could educate their public about Scientology abuses. And so I went to the Baptist church with a friend of mine, Frank Oliver, who used to also help in OSA. And we're sitting in the audience, and he's reading the Bible and what LRH says, and the Bible and what L. Ron Hubbard says. And finally says, and it's 500 people in the audience, and he says, do you all want to know what they really think? And this is a block away. And they're like, yeah. He goes, I have to warn you, you could get pneumonia if I read this to you. So if you want to leave, you can. The place burst out laughing. I mean, it was hysterical. And Frank and I were like, oh my God. Because we knew OSA people were in there that were still really, really in the church, whereas we were out. Anyway, very funny. But Andreas was the original person who started, all the original picket signs had XENU.net on it. That was it. That was the main site where all that happened with him, just so you know, this is what he told me. You can correct it if you want, Andreas. But he told me he was reading a newspaper and someone was getting sued or suing the church, one or the other. And he thought, this is kind of odd. So he started poking around the internet. He's a computer geek. He knows how to get around. Found all these different things all over the internet that were just and he was trying to look at both sides and really not, be unbiased. But he kept finding these horror stories around the net, and there was nowhere where it was in one place. So he, knowing how to create websites, created the website Operation Clambake so everybody could see the other side. That was very hard to find. It was very much over the hills and through the woods and around this corner, and there was Paulette Cooper's story, and then over the woods and around the hills and over the corner. You know what I mean? And here was another thing. And it was out there, but it was very hard to find. And Andreas has put it all together in a fabulous website. And I will always thank you, Andreas, because you were so kind to me. And that was what I started with, was that in Scientology, you know, we were all working to be OT. Then I meet Andreas, and honestly, you are like one of the most OT people I know. And I know you're going to laugh at that, but you are. You're able, you're kind, you have a lot of, you know, you're just a generous person, you're loving, you're very able to do all kinds of things. You help your community in all kinds of ways that just blew my mind. And he's an atheist, you know, but you're more spiritual than most people I know, even though I know you'll say no. But anyway, here's my card. Happy birthday to Mr. Andreas Heldal-Lund and all of your friends. I hope you're having a wonderful party. And his real birthday is, I think he said Monday, but his Monday is our Sunday. So you'll have to check on Facebook, but I think his official day is tomorrow, I think, but I'm not positive. It might be Monday, which is the 11th. I think it is, because it's 9 or the 10th. Anyway, check on Facebook. But happy birthday, Andreas. I love you, and all of us do. And I know he said to send everyone his love. So to anyone listening to this from Andreas in Norway, and if you're his friends in Norway, be thankful you live in that country. It's a very, very cool country. So anyway, love, hugs, happy birthday week, happy birthday month. Take a month to celebrate. You deserve it. All right. Mwah, love you. And I love all of you guys. That's it. I just wanted to wish my friend happy birthday. Ciao.